Hey everyone, Rob Yang here. I'm going to discuss 3 reasons why you're reacting to dairy, whether you get gas, bloating, clearing your throat, sinus issues in the morning. And the number one issue is obviously lactose. So most people know when they're lactose intolerant, they might have milk or yogurt and they start having farts or gas or they get bloated from it. So that's obviously if you don't have the enzyme lactase to digest lactose. So that will be what we classify as an intolerance to the actual dairy product. Now the other portion of it is that if someone drinks lactose free milk, so lactate milk for example, they're taking out the lactose, but they're still reactive to the actual milk, then that's usually coming down to the casein protein. So that's the type of protein that's in dairy. Now the casein protein is very allergenic for a lot of people. So if people are reacting to it, it's usually the casein, maybe in combination with the lactose. Now what complicates that even further is that you have casein, but you have it from different animals. So you have it from cows, you have it from goat, sheep, yak. Yeah, here even people are drinking camel's milk now. So what you'll find is some of you may be able to tolerate goat yogurt, but not cow's yogurt. So that factor in the casein, but the type of casein that you may be able to digest or not digest. Now the third reason why you may be reacting to dairy is the processing of dairy. So the first one is pasteurization. So with pasteurization, we know Louis Pasteur, his theory was you heat something to really high temperatures and ultimately you kill the bacteria. Well, that's necessary in feedlot cows that are living and eating their own feces. So obviously the meat is probably diseased and so is the milk. So that is why there's the milk that has to be pasteurized because it has all the bacteria. Now once you heat it to high temperatures, what you're doing is you're denaturing the amino acids, the protein. So that in itself makes it more allergenic. So even though you may be drinking an organic milk, if it's pasteurized, you're completely drinking a damaged milk product. So you're going to be more reactive to it. Now the second part of the processing is homogenization. So with homogenized milk, what they do is they blow the milk through tiny little pinholes at about like 3,000 psi. Now, if you look at a fire hose and how it can blow a man over, that's about 300 psi. So 10 times the amount of pressure out of a fire hose, they're blowing the milk through these tiny little pinholes, and that is to change the flat globules, so to break them down so that the milk doesn't separate. Because if you get raw, unhomogenized milk, the cream rises to the top, and then you have the milk at the bottom. And so people don't typically like that. They think it's gross, it's fatty, that sort of thing. So this is the reason why they do that. Now that damages the fats, but it also damages the proteins. So you're getting a product that's pasteurized and homogenized. So you're getting that double effect of change on the actual protein molecule. So that is another reason why you could potentially react to the protein. So to give you a rundown review, remember it's lactose, it's the casein, but it's also the processing that could be pasteurized as well as homogenized, why you could be reacting to the actual dairy product. So my take is that if you have an issue with it, you go off of it for a minimum 30 days. It has to be 30 days. 90 days would be even better. And then after the 30th day, on the 31st day, you would introduce one dairy product, whether it's yogurt or milk or cheese, and then you would not consume it for the next 4 days at least. I would prefer 5 days to a week. Then that way you'll know within either 4 to 5 hours later or the next day, you might have your sinus build up, or you might notice, wow, the rest of the day I have to constantly clear my throat because you're getting sort of a post-nasal drip. Or it could change your bowels, whether you get constipation or diarrhea, or you just get bloating. So that would be my suggestion. If you suggest it, if you suspect it, then go off for a minimum of 30 days, reintroduce it once on the 31st day, then not again for maybe a week, 5 to 7 days, and then you'll know whether you're reactive or not. At that point too, if you want to play with different types of dairy, you can do that. So you can introduce, maybe if you reacted to a cow, the next week you go with maybe a goat yogurt. And sometimes people can do that fine. Or if you have access to raw milk, you can try raw milk, and people do great on raw milk. So it really depends on the person, and this is where you have to do a little bit of self-experimentation to figure out what you can actually digest and absorb without having any sort of irritation. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with anybody that needs to hear this information that's confused about dairy. So until next time, eat well to feel well.